Yeah.
Thanks, man. Test, test. Test, test.
You ever hear like?
Whoa!
It's a
Be
step
careful,
down.
man.
I'm good. I think
The studio's not level.
it's not.
Everybody,
it is
the
not.
studio's not level.
It's not. Now that I know that, I'll be good. But I'm drinking and smoking since like 9:30 this morning.
Alrighty. So we're live. We're here. So this is episode 26.
Oh, you've got an official episode.
This is
the
episode
next-
26.
Just the next episode.
Yeah, this is the next one.
Okay. It's not like. Yeah. No. Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you. This is just.
No. Okay,
this
so
is the
yeah.
logical order.
all right. Okay. So we're gonna get through the first couple words here.
We'll get there.
So here we are. So this is episode 26 of a little show we like to call Canadian Talk. Yeah, we talk. It's mostly with Canadians, but sometimes we have others. We have academics. We have Longhorns. We have the Texans. We have LA folk. But yeah, we're back.
LA.
We're back for another one. Yeah, we got everything running.
Focus on the camera.
Yeah.
Got video.
Yeah, and there's your mic.
My mic.
Yeah.
Testing.
And so we're here for another episode. We're here to talk to people that we think have a lot to say that don't have the channels that they need to get it out. There's so much knowledge out there that it just dies in basements. And what we have here is we have Doug. He's I believe that most of the people I've talked to, they call him Esquire Renshaw. He's a master. He's got his master's in some really, really good sciences to do with neurology, health, exercise, things along those lines. He's working towards a PhD, and these are the types of things you have to do nowadays to get a PhD, and that's why he's here. You have to speak to people. You have to conduct research. You have to innovate. He's doing one of the major things that is involved in getting a PhD nowadays, I think. So we have Doug here today, and we're going to talk about anything that comes to mind. We're just sitting in front of the fire. It's roaring pretty good. Weather's getting a little warmer.
Yeah,
So without further ado, yeah, I'd just like to thank Doug for taking the time out of his busy schedule to come and sit in the studio with me today to talk about health.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how much health we'll actually talk about. I appreciate the introduction. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Again. So I'm Doug Renshaw. I'm a PhD candidate. So I'm essentially a doctor without a doctorate yet. I still have to do some writing. So I'm getting close, right? That's kind of the only thing that separates me from being able to call myself a doctor, which is really once you get to this point in your education, you don't
Semantics.
care. You don't care about your title.
Yeah.
I tell everyone, just call me Doug. Like the more you, I think it's the like Dunning-Kruger effect, right? And essentially all that says is the more you know, the less confidence you have in your ability to know anything. It's kind of a
Yeah, I'm familiar with the
curve.
curve.
You know,
Yeah, I'm
you know
familiar-
what I'm talking
yeah.
about, right? The more education you really get, then you actually all you do is teach yourself. And if you don't teach yourself this, I feel like you're doing it wrong.
Have you heard of the fallacy of knowing?
I have. I'm
Same
not.
thing.
I could not.
It
quote
summarizes essentially the problem that the
It's the same.
Dunning-Kruger effect
Okay.
puts in graphical form.
Okay. No, I did not know that. I've heard
Fallacy
of it.
of
I just
knowing.
haven't read it.
Yeah, it's just a principle that basically, once you start to know shit, you assume that other people know it.
Yeah.
So then
It's a
you
slippery
don't
slope.
present your information because you assume, this is so simple. I know it. They must know it. So then you lose confidence until you get to the end of that curve.
Very much
And-
so.
But
I
it
can
takes a
see
long
that.
time to get to the end of that curve, you know.
So I'm pretty privileged right now that I am, as I'm a doctoral candidate, and with COVID has come, labs shut down, so I can't do my own research, but I was able to supplement my education by teaching. And so being an expert in the field, learning to explain these higher level concepts to people, not on intelligence level, just on experience, right? It's just novel information. And hey, we're talking about some complicated shit sometimes. And the ability to go, when you do a PhD, like I'm in my 5th year of my PhD, so I've basically spent 5 years up to my eyeballs in heavy neuroscience literature, right? Technically I would be considered a neuromuscular physiologist, but in my field it can go both ways. It can be more focused on the neuro, or it can be focused more on the muscular side. I would be more considered the neuro, so I do a lot of brain imaging, a lot of functional magnetic resonance imaging to look at people's brains and the plasticity that occurs and how we can elicit these changes with exercise. That's really what I do. Like, that's kind of my primary
and that's what
interest, right?
Essentially, I am the Alex Jones of what you are.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm always running around telling people, exercise, plasticity.
Hey, man.
You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, I know somebody does. This is the guy.
I hope to be that. Like, I would never proclaim to be that.
No, but I always talk about that. I had to do a paper once on exercise and how it relates to neuroplasticity. And it's so fucking clear.
Really, you wrote a paper on like that's, I've also written a paper on that.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
And in fact, that was part of.
Probably fucking took stuff from your paper to make.
Well, I didn't.
No, you wouldn't have. It's pretty. Yours is more recent.
I didn't publish a paper, but it was. I actually.
We're drinking. By the way, Doug gave me some Sol today. He
Sol.
brought. That's a Mexican standard cerveza.
Yep. Sol is actually the name of our son. Did you know that? So we have there's a Greek name for a moon. I believe it's Luna.
Oh yeah.
Could be mistaken.
Yeah. That's the cat in Sailor Moon.
The Greek name for our sun, just like we have Jupiter and Pluto, right? And the Greek and Roman. Some of them are Roman. Some I don't know. It's kind of fucky, right?
Yeah.
But our sun is known as Sol. So
fair enough. So that actually means sun in Spanish.
Yeah, it's just a simple.
And then we got the classic. Is it American red, white, and blue? We got the PBR. Pabst Blue Ribbon. They were on special this week. $37 for a 24-pack, so I grabbed that up.
That's a frat boy special.
I'm not going to pay more than $40 for a 24-pack. Who do you think I am?
Well, Canada, like y'all need to reel it in with your alcohol price.
And then I got to pay taxes and deposit on top of that. By the time I'm paying $47 for a 24-pack, $2 a beer, basically $2 a beer.
Let's convert all of this to Americans. 47. Let's call that 40 American. For
35.
35.
Yeah.
Well, benefit of the doubt. Let's call it 40.
Okay.
$40 for how many? 24 beers?
24.
Okay. So
that'll last me 4 days.
We're looking at somewhere $1.75 to $1.84, something like that per beer.
Yeah.
For PBR, right?
Oh no, you're about to upset me with.
Isn't that insane? I mean, I don't know. Like, that's an insanity situation for me, because I used to so I did my master's degree in a place called Fairmont, West Virginia. West by God, Virginia, man. It's the second best state in the whole union. I love this place. These people are amazing. The first quick side note, the first person I ever met in West Virginia, he introduced himself to me. He said, hey man, my name's Daryl. Double Barrel Daryl. That was the first human being I met in this state. It was the best.
What a great name.
I fell in love right then and there.
It's Daryl with 2 D's.
Yeah,
I like double D's and call me Daryl.
Yeah, man, it was. I didn't know how to even respond to that.
I've never met a guy named Daryl who doesn't know how to take an engine out of a Chevy.
It was amazing. It was so good, right? The second person I met, which was it's more impactful, right? It's a more impactful history on my life. Like, it had a more eventful impact. This guy, I was working with him. The first words I ever heard come out of his mouth. We were moving. It was a college bookstore in Fairmont, West Virginia, moving books, right? This dude looked at me. We hadn't even said hello yet to each other, and he says, "Say, man, you ever been possum kicking before?" I'm not making this up, Stephan. I am not making this statement up.
That's great.
He said that, and I almost lost my goddamn mind. That was the funniest. There's not a.
You know what I do? You know what I did growing up is we call it gopher drowning.
Gopher drowning.
Yeah. So
fantastic.
gophers, they make their holes. They're pretty small little guys, and they make these little holes that you read my mind.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Like a little back.
Excuse me. Corona into the mic. You all have it. Anybody listening now has Corona.
Got that ear Rona.
Yeah. So, gopher drowning. They make a little skinny. They don't go too deep, and they always have the double entry. So what you do is you put a hose on the one side and you wait on the other side and you bonk them when they come out. And this neighbor that she lived right beside the field, she used to pay me because she would have gardens.
Brutal.
She had gardens, and so she would pay
With
me
the
to
hammer?
go.
Like you're just
Oh,
hanging
dude.
out with that.
Yeah,
Like a
hammer was
a
too
mallet
small,
or something?
so I would use like hockey sticks
Oh,
and just
damn.
and it would go soaring. And then the thing is, it wouldn't kill it; it would just knock it out. So you'd have to run over
You
there
have
and
to
just
go and then give it
the old chopperoo.
the old
Yeah.
chopperoo.
So gopher drowning. And yeah, the lady would pay me though, usually like $10 a gopher.
per critter,
And
right?
then
like that's how I would.
yeah,
I wouldn't do
and
that
then though
job
when I
without
started getting
a
it, the
per
one day I
critter.
brought her 6, and she's like, "Oh, I'm only gonna pay $5 a gopher today," because she
What?
didn't want to. She didn't want to give me more than 2 20s. Because that would have been $60, right? Because I brought her 6 gophers. So I think I
So
got a little bit
would
too good at my craft.
Would it have been better to kill one more or one less?
Man, you know what I should have done was I should have stored the.
Hang, yeah. Well, you should have. Man,
I should have stored the gophers,
Oh,
and I should have
man.
brought them to her.
that's
Supply and demand. I
that's-
was too young to understand
I-
supply and gopher demand.
You know what, man? That's a
So,
gorgeous
yeah.
representation of how
So-
hindsight is 20.
I know,
right?
you wish you were as smart as you were then. You just Benjamin Button on the gopher drowning.
For sure, you could be
So,
a millionaire. by
Yeah, I
doing
could
that
be a
shit, man.
millionaire from gopher drowning alone.
So I don't know.
So,
I never did the gopher drowning.
yeah.
That's hysterical.
So-
Our version was killing prairie dogs.
Oh yeah.
And that's like a weekend thing because these prairie dogs, they dig all these holes in these ranchers' fields, and then their horses or cows step in them and break their legs, right? So all these farmers and ranchers in Texas are like, hey, come on down. Just sit in the back of your pickup with whatever is Texas. So whatever
yeah.
caliber you want.
Kind of like
Just-
with Kelly kill the pigs.
just kill these things.
Yeah.
So that was like our hobby. Saturdays, all right, let's go. Hey, man, I just got an SKS. Y'all want to shoot it? Yeah. Fuck yeah, I do. I really want to shoot that automatic illegal rifle in most states, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
cool. It's Texas.
Yeah.
It's cool, Bo. You got an AK-47? Let's go. You got ammo? I got some.
Yeah.
Like I'll bring the
You
ammo.
fish the ammo out of it after
Yeah.
reuse it.
Yeah, and then you just blow up these animals. It's great. I love Amarillo. Just has they started and they got a double-A Major League Baseball team, right? And they had a vote from the city, and they named the team the Amarillo Sod Poodles.
Wow.
Which means sod poodle is
What is that?
it's like slang, I guess, slang. I've never heard the word before, but I love it now. That's slang for a prairie dog, right? The same animals that we would just blow to bits.
How big is a prairie dog?
They're
Kind of like a.
I'm thinking like a house cat, basically.
Oh, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
a little smaller than a house cat.
Yeah. Kind of like those. Chinchilla. It's
Way
like the
bigger
biggest
than a
mammal.
chinchilla.
Oh, okay.
Way bigger than that. Like
Chinchilla's the biggest mammal, or the biggest?
I
Not
thought
the biggest
chinchillas
mammal, the
were
biggest
just the really soft
rodent.
things. Are they
I'm
rodents?
trying to think of those. There's the biggest rodent is it's this. I
Like
can't
a
remember the word.
capybara.
Hey,
Those mother big ass
dude,
goddamn. I've seen
man,
them, man.
CK.
Big-ass
That's why
rats.
this is the guy right
They're
here,
big ass rats,
dude.
man.
Good call on that
terrifying,
reference.
huh?
Yeah, your references have been off
They
the,
are
off the charts today.
They're scary.
Oh, we got a
animals.
phone call. He's
No,
important.
No, I got.
And then I'm on to my next topic. Whenever you're done with your phone call,
We
there.
just muted that.
You don't have to. All right, you can take it if you want.
Nah.
We can edit it out.
No.
So we were
Yeah.
talking about
Capybaras.
capybaras, yeah,
Capybaras.
and then your
Big-ass
other reference
rats.
today. What was that other reference? Can't remember, but we were talking about nerves.
Let's see. References. There was a
Yeah.
Peter Pan thing.
Oh, the Peter
There was a
Pan
Peter
thing,
Pan
yeah.
thing.
But,
That might be.
in reference to
I'm
time.
just thinking. Of,
No, we were talking about time.
out loud.
We were talking about time, and how time is like. Ultimately, it's something that's working against you in life. It's working for you,
It
but
was
it's working
kind of,
against you.
So I think that kind of the genesis of this was like everybody has their own enemies, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're an entrepreneur,
Oh, yeah,
you're,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
working against the government, right?
Yeah.
Enemy, maybe that's a strong word. They're kind of our opposition, though, right?
They
as
are
an
at the end of the
entrepreneur,
fucking day. They make something that should be free
They're
cost $500.
Yeah.
So that's an enemy.
it is, and I agree with your nomenclature on that.
Fuck.
I totally
It's
do.
too bad, but it's like also that we need them. I mean, in a
Exactly.
way, they make people afraid. That authority figure, like what we were talking about with the royal family, because we were
Oh,
talking
yes,
about
yes,
that
yes.
interview where Meghan threw the whole royal family under the bus.
Meghan Markle. Like,
Yeah.
do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll kill her? Do you think they got like? Is there a conspiracy already out there? Like, I'm probably not the first person to even think about this, but is that a thing? I'm serious. Like, is that? I think that, like, I feel like she's a target. If I was a gambling man, right, Stephan? If I was a gambling man,
I'd avoid all
I
underpasses.
probably shouldn't eat. Oh, boom, damn, son. I don't even know. They say comedy is what, like, tragedy plus time.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's enough time, dog. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Because just avoid the underpasses, Megan.
Ooh,
Don't go there. Just don't go there. Don't even go in a car.
If I was a gambling man
Stay in
and
your
I had
house.
to pick top 5 people probably gonna get killed somehow,
I know, it's gonna be
by
her.
somebody else in the next year.
And then Piers Morgan.
How do you
Piers Morgan got fired from his job on the British talk show.
So
there.
he's got. My understanding was he got fired before.
Oh yeah.
From British shit. And
Oh,
that's why he
I would
became
believe
an
it, dude.
American thing. I don't know for sure.
Man.
I don't want to.
Last I saw, he was on the talk show with that brunette girl where it was just him and her, and he was saying some crazy shit. And now he's on a different talk show. He's on a new talk show every couple months. So I don't think he really cares. He's just happy that he went viral with this Meghan Markle walk off.
What happened with this? Like, explain.
Yeah.
This.
So what happened?
Perhaps the audience also.
Yeah.
would like to know
So
what
he
we're
was.
talking about.
So Piers Morgan is on his interview show that he does these shows where he talks about people, and honestly, I find him pretty legit. Like I'm not it.
No.
But I'm not I know he's anti-gun,
Yeah.
so I don't love the guy.
Doesn't mean he's wrong about everything.
But
else,
yeah,
right?
so but other than that,
Just
he's
one
he's
issue.
pretty articulate. So I forgot what I was saying. We're talking about Pierce Morgan, but
Pierce
we were talking
Morgan
about. Oh, so
being
what happened?
articulate and
Yeah,
Meghan
he was on
Markle
this show that
walk
he's
off.
on right now.
Right.
He was on the show that he was on right. There's like 4 or 5 people, and this guy that was in the panel starts kind of saying because I guess Pierce Morgan has always been vocal about not liking Meghan Markle.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
but
I
I've
didn't know.
only heard him recently saying the whole thing about, and a lot of people are saying it. That's why it's annoying when people get canceled. Just because they're at the top, you can't just keep canceling everybody at the top. He's saying things that everybody's saying, which is, if you're the top, like Meghan Markle can't play the victim.
You can't cancel someone at the bottom because no one sees it.
Yeah, nobody
right?
cares.
You need-
I
you
guess
need to
so. So
see-
everybody's just getting
It's
canceled.
all
but
about
only-
optics, right? That's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this
yeah.
this whole cancel culture. It's an
Yeah.
optic things. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the virtue.
Yeah.
And I hate to sound like a Rogan repeater, right? But he puts it well, right? Like that's the virtue signaling. That's really what's going on. He's done such a good job of describing our culture right now. And it's you wouldn't attack someone. They're the royal family is the perfect target for this culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? They're the top. They are everything that this whole the so-called cancel culture is against.
Yeah.
They're the white fucking aristocracy, richest people in the world, white progenitors of slave culture, class culture. That's what they represent. So for Oprah to have that, what
I know.
an amazing windfall. I don't know if it's a windfall. It's who else you going to do it with, right? Who you going to pick that interview with?
Yeah, because Oprah's kind of dying off. So Oprah was happy to get the interview.
I fucking hate Oprah with a passion. Like, I'll say that out loud, but she sells to an audience, man.
She had a very popular show, but she's definitely dying off. She was probably pretty happy to get this interview. But that's what everybody's mad about. Piers Morgan basically just said, hey, like, come on, you can't be playing the victim.
Keep forgetting we're on camera too.
Yeah. Hello, YouTube.
Howdy.
Yeah. You can't be when you're in that position.
Okay, I think
she's got to fight it at the point where she's already done the wedding, and she's got to fight it from the inside at that point. She can't now.
Do you think she's got a porno out there?
Oh.
I think she does. I have heard from a couple sources that I don't know how. Honestly, I'm not saying there is one out there.
There is, though.
Just putting that question
Dude,
to
you are on point. You just made about
Does Meghan
maybe
Markle?
in 10 years this will have 100,000 views. You just
Maybe.
made 50,000 people laugh.
I hope so,
Dude,
man.
she probably
I
has a
hope.
porn
That's-
video. 5 years from now, they're going to know about it, and you're going to
They're
say
gonna be
it.
watching it. I hope so, man. The time stamps,
Come
people.
on, we're making-
check the
that's what-
time stamp.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We're making time work for us.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you record. Is you flip time, and it's no longer your enemy. It becomes your friend.
We can edit stuff.
I guess unless if you say something bad and you get canceled.
Yeah, you
Like
gotta-
Pepe Le Pew, and like Mr. Potato
how do
Head.
you- okay, so I'm be honest. I saw Pepe Le Pew coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too. I'm surprised
you know,
it took so long.
Way before Dr. Seuss, right? If
Yeah,
Dr. Seuss things,
yeah.
it's a whole different situation.
Yeah, he's
in
old.
my
Is he
brain.
dead yet? Like,
He's dead.
We're canceling those guys because
He's
they're
dead.
dead. So who cares?
And it wasn't even
Yeah.
a cancel thing. It was his own estate said, "Hey, we're not comfortable with these books being out there. We're gonna stop selling these because they do depict some people in a bad
And
light."
what I heard, it was like 5% of his books.
It
He has
was-
110 books, and they canceled 6.
I think it was 6 or maybe 7. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah,
But
I
you're
think
probably
those are the
right.
numbers.
I think you're right. And so what happened there is it's a good thing. It's one of those situations where this weird culture we've created, okay, it's maybe created a decent influence on things. I don't know. I went to high school. We had to read some Mark Twain stuff
Yeah.
that
Yeah, he's
they dropped
definitely-
the N-bomb a lot, right?
yeah, in his
Mark
books, yeah.
Twain, Huck Finn, all that shit. There's a character named, and I'm just saying his character name is Nigger Jim. That's his
You
name.
said the N-word
It's
on my
the book.
You
I
can't-
know,
I gotta
well,
edit that
you can
out.
Edit that out.
I'm
if
gonna
you have
edit it
to.
out.
Are you really gonna fucking
Well,
edit
hold
that
on though,
out?
because
That's
I guess
his
you're saying the
actual-
character name.
I'm
You're saying the
only-
character name.
I mean, you
But
can,
are you okay being on recording
Man, no, I'm
saying the
only-
N-word,
I'm
even though you're
only-
saying the character
man,
name?
listen, I'm not saying there's no derogatory sense in that in the way I say.
I don't
that.
know. It's okay.
Calm down, bro.
I'm calm.
It's
I'm
good.
calm.
It's good. You could, if you need to, we can watch it later when you sober up or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But it's all up to you because
I'm
here's the
okay.
thing though,
I'm okay
is
with
we're
saying
into
that.
it. We're so far into it. The thing
We're
is
just
most
talking.
nobody will be listening at this point because we're only 25 minutes in. But
Okay.
any real fan won't be listening at this point. But I mean, you're going to be on recording saying it. But it's a character name.
I'm okay with saying that because I
Yeah.
know I'm not.
You're just
saying,
talking about the thing.
I'm not being derogatory.
Yeah, but and then we're talking about Mark Twain.
That's his literal name in
I
the
know.
book, and we had to
Why would
read.
Why would
even
they have done that?
in
Yeah.
high school? So I graduated.
Dude,
high
I read a
school
book in high school too
2001,
that
right?
had the N-word in it.
Yeah, and
so
we had to
but
read
I wouldn't
this out.
say it right now.
We had to read
Why
it
did
out
you
loud.
say it?
No, well, listen. I'm saying when I was in high school, we read this book out loud. We played this game called popcorn reading.
So who did they
where
make say the
somebody-
N-word?
somebody
One of the
would-
kids.
Somebody would read a paragraph, and then they would just holler somebody else's name in the class, and that person then had to read the next paragraph. That's how we did it, right? I didn't make it up, all right? I was just a student. So someone would call
Sounds
on
fun.
me, and I'd be like, all right, so...
So then you make the little girl over
here
there,
we
the
go.
shy girl, say
And
the
then-
N-word?
Yes, well, that's what happened. That's genuinely what happened, man. It's
Do
fucked
you know
up.
who Morgan Whalen is?
Waylon, no.
He's
no.
a- he's a
I know
country singer.
Waylon Jennings.
He's a country singer. So yeah, anybody out there, like we're talking about counseling,
Morgan Waylon.
and anybody, sorry, whatever. But Morgan Whalen, he's a great country singer, who just was recently canceled because he was on his front lawn.
What did he do?
Dude, he's a huge country singer, hundreds of millions of views. He lives in a duplex. I was talking about this on the last episode. He still lives in a duplex. And his neighbor was recording him from across the street, and he said the N-word in his front lawn. This is what I'm saying. He said the N-word in his front lawn, and now everybody's canceled. I mean, I guess not everybody, but now everybody's upset at him. Like they were trying to, but I've heard that his ticket sales have skyrocketed.
Yeah,
But,
isn't that weird how that works?
So, but everybody's a
it's-
certain group is loving him and a certain group is hating him. So
Sometimes
whatever.
shit floats to the top, man.
Yeah.
It's I hate it. Like it's something we have to acknowledge, man. I mean, it's a real thing, right? And we shouldn't skirt around these things. I think have an open, honest discussion about this with no derogatory tones.
Yeah,
at
there
all.
wasn't any. You're just
And-
talking about a character and saying how it's ridiculous that they even named that in the book, and you had to read it at school.
Yeah,
In
we
no
read it out
way
loud.
is that.
I don't think they've canceled Mark Twain shit yet.
Isn't
but
it
you
amazing how
probably
powerful
will.
that word is? You know what's funny is Joe Rogan has that bit where he says it on stage. Have you heard Joe Rogan's bit? It's his best special, 2006. It's called Joe Rogan Live.
Okay.
And
is it the black and white one? Was it
no,
on Netflix?
does he have a black and white
I
one?
think that maybe that's Bill Burr.
Bill Burr has a black and
I know
white one.
He does. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's fairly shit anyway. Bill Burr. Never mind.
Yeah, but in Joe Rogan's 2006 special, he talks about the 3 powerful words. One is the C word. One is the N word, and one is something else. I can't. So, yeah, but that's one of the best specials in comedy, actually.
What would the third one be now? I'm curious. So
yeah, a C word.
Cunt, N word, which would just it's just for.
Yeah, what's the other
for our
one?
white fragility, we won't say what we're actually referring to with the N word. Right?
Yeah.
We'll just ignore that. So N word.
White fragility.
I'm cool with
indeed.
it. I'm cool
indeed.
with N word.
And then
cunt. However,
yeah, so those are the 2. What is the
cunt,
other one?
N word and pussy. Would you go with pussy?
It's around that. Was it pussy? It wasn't pussy.
Cock.
No.
Cunt. Okay, cunt. N word. I don't man.
We're just like canceling ourselves here by saying all the worst ones.
Republican.
No.
Trump. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's nowadays, not 2006.
Oh, this is okay. We're not 6 now.
Man, I can't remember what it was.
Man, 2006. I don't know.
I can't remember what it was.
Anyways, we got 2 out of 3, folks. That's
2 out of 3. That's good enough.
You're gonna have to just fill in.
You can just look up the rest. And if you want to see the video of Morgan Whalen doing that thing, just Google it. You'll find it. So that's what we do here. Is you just watch and we'll tell you what to Google. You Google. Google along while
we
watching.
create more work for you.
Yes.
Sorry,
you do it. We don't have producers to pull it up on our screen yet, so you just look it up.
And there you go. In
just pause it and look it up.
Pausing. I love telling my students that because I know none of them are like.
Yeah, so you talk in front. You regularly talk in front of over 100 people. So tell us what that's about, because I was telling you that I have a lot of problems with nerves. It's part of why I've had my comedy in podcast form instead of live form. Tell me about that.
Well, to me, I don't know if it's just me. But I've talked to a lot of other teachers now, right? It's such a weird phenomenon, because you would think that teaching in front of 160. Right now, I'm teaching one class that's 160 students. So,
in some of my biggest classes that I was in while I was in my undergrad, like basic ones like geography.
Yeah.
I was in lecture halls that would have about 200 people, and dude, it's a lot of people. It fills an auditorium.
It's insanity to base education
That's you.
on
That's
this.
you. That's why you teach so many people.
A lot of people right now, and it's this industrial. Like, I'll just go on record and say this industrialized method of education is bad. It's not a good thing for our system. Our kids, you're doing, you're paying to go to school for a piece of paper. The fact of the matter is, you can get the exact same education on YouTube if you know what you're looking for. Yeah. I hate to say that as an academician.
YouTube or from the public library.
But 100%.
That's Goodwill Hunting shit right there.
Open a book.
You've seen Goodwill Hunting?
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
Where
it's been a while.
It's a line, but it's a line from it where where he says he's in the bar and they're in that fight, and he goes, "You'll realize one day that you spent $250,000 on an education that you could have got for $1.50 in late fees from the public library."
Yeah. Oh,
when they're in that bar fight with that guy. Yeah. And then after he puts the paper up to the window and he goes,
"How about them apples?
How about them apples?"
Yeah.
That's
okay.
the one. You like apples? I
like
got
apples?
a number. I like them apples.
They get that British, just
Boston.
Boston,
you mean?
Boston, British. Yeah, no, yeah,
British, Boston.
Boston cunt attitude going. It's
Matt Damon's a great actor.
He's fantastic.
Yeah,
he
it's
really
funny. That's anybody. Sorry, this is a purely podcast. Anybody like, I don't know if this will ever connect with anybody, but Matt Damon from the most recent Two Bears One Cave, where they were talking about Matt Damon. That was pretty funny. If you
shout out,
look at the episode 71 of Two Bears. That was pretty funny because I
haven't seen that.
Yeah, they try to set Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer try to set up something with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and they did not ask them. They didn't do anything like that.
We need wood.
Yeah,
man.
We need a little more wood.
We need some wood.
Okay, if you your character, go cut one.
Gotcha. Just that.
Yeah, you got it. Just cut some of that shitty wood there around the corner and.
Gotcha.
And so they were. He promoted this show that they had nothing to do with, and then the next episode they had to, right in the beginning of the episode, they apologized. There's the saw, baby. That's in the studio. We're equipped with tools here. That's what built this shit. You're gonna hear a scream pretty soon, and he's gonna be minus one digit. He's gonna lose a finger. He's got all his digits, people. We're good. We're good.
Is this enough?
We got some timber. This is this right here is the fuel of life. This fuels our thoughts.
This is Canada in March.
Yeah,
everybody.
and this connects right to our neurology. That's why we have a neurologist, almost a neurologist here.
Yeah. So I'd love to circle back to this topic.
Yeah, let's circle back to some proper academic stuff now that we've been talking bullshit for 40 minutes.
Well, and I don't know if it's academic so much, but we
Dude,
were
just having
talking
you in
about-
the room, there is an academic sphere.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah,
you've
I appreciate
committed,
that.
listen, you've as I've committed my life to hockey and to some other things, you've committed your life purely to what you've done. And as much as you like to try to be modest about it, you have a sphere of energy around you that is purely academic. We can talk, you can drink, you can do whatever you want, but the internet
appreciate
knows that they'll cut this up. This 10 minutes right now, one day will be cut up. This is going to be your legend.
I hope so.
It's all of it. It's all of it.
It's a good feeling.
Anyway, I'm just like that's
Well-
one of the many compliments that I want to pay you.
And that's very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Really, like the why I'm in education, why I want to be involved in academia. I've been able to filter this basically down to this one statement, right? Like, if you have $1 and I have $1, okay, I can give you $1 and then you have $2 and I have $0. But if I have a thought and you have a thought, I can give you a thought and now you have two thoughts. And you can give me a thought and now I have two thoughts. There's no loss, right? Sometimes you got to filter through the bullshit. But if we think of our thoughts as currency, it's a very valuable way of looking at the world that you don't want all of society to do that, but you need a population to do that.
Yeah.
Interesting thing,
Yeah.
totally kind of random to that.
Well, because you're a Christian, right?
I am,
So
100%.
that kind of
Yes.
connects back to the Bible in how like information is power, and how they never used to let people read the Bible and stuff, and just reading was what made you smart. And the best book at the time was the Bible. You read it and it would make you smart as they considered it back then. Now we may consider it like, even now, like some of the wording in there is pretty poetic, and it's pretty like most people don't talk like that.
Well, the King James version is, in my opinion, one of the most well-written pieces of literature ever.
Yeah.
And maybe
But
it's not because it's so good, but because it was
that's
so
how I feel when I
influential.
read it. It's
Like,
it's meant to miss. It's
Did you know Shakespeare was helped write?
yeah.
Right? Like there's references to that. I don't know. It's like whatever 17th, 16th century conspiracy about Shakespeare that you can find his signature in. I think it's one of the Book of Psalms where he made it like the 23rd verse of Psalms, and like his birth date is Shake and then Spear. It's a weird conspiracy. I don't even know if it's accurate. Like, but I don't know.
Do you
if he
accept
actually
that the
did it or
Bible
if
is
it's
ultimately propaganda?
random. Well, okay. Let's put a definition to that word, propaganda. A working definition right now.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Oh yeah.
It's a fair question.
Oh yeah. What I'm doing right now is I just put a challenge up. This is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
spurs conversation.
No.
I could have said it in a less brash way.
No,
That's why I
like
didn't.
I want to make sure we're on the same page.
But before I get brash though, I wanted to say something about what you were talking about, because you were talking about neurology and thoughts and things, and I wanted to connect those. Because what we're doing right now, I always say on all the previous episodes, I always say that this is like a form of like new aged education in a way, because you're an educator, but this is
100%.
This is a way of getting it more raw, and with the way the internet chops things up is this may be an hour and a half, but we may have 5 or 10 minutes of it that is really good. And that's what some kid who's in a bubble, Star Trek style, watching 3 screens at a time learning, he'll want to see those 5 minutes, and it'll get filtered through the algorithms to be where he needs it to be in his development in terms of neurology.
Does that come with a negative connotation or a positive connotation from your viewpoint?
Positive, all positive.
All positive?
I think that any information influx, as you were saying,
Well,
it's cumulative. It can never be non-cumulative.
Right.
Even if there's negatives, you're gonna process those out.
But here's the thing with information and learning, right? It needs to come from different directions, right? I can learn things from reading it, that's very valuable. I can learn most things from reading, but if I don't have any experiential knowledge, I can't really understand anything. So it has to come from so many different. You can't just be in a bubble and hear things or read things and get all of that information that one way, because that's valuable to you if you live in that two-dimensional literature-based world. But then how do you step out?
We live in a three-dimensional world.
We live in a three-dimensional world, and even, you know, you can argue for more dimensions. I don't know. I'm not an astrophysicist or quantum person. I don't. I love to dabble in that shit just because it blows my mind, and I'm like, it makes me feel dumb. That's really, I get like a weird masochistic
nice for intrigue.
way.
It's nice for intrigue.
Total intrigue. That's all it is.
Yeah, like when you look up into the sky. Like, who can really explain? Apparently, they landed something on Mars.
No, so there's a new rover on there because the old rover died. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They had like the last dying words. It's like they made it into a whole tragic character. It's like, people, this is a goddamn robot, 400 million miles away, and people were sad about it, right?
Yeah, that's so funny.
It was. I loved how we're humans.
Yeah.
We love stories.
Yeah, definitely.
That's. You know, I keep circling back to this, and I don't know why, man. The fire, right?
Oh yeah, we wanted to talk about the fire.
We spoke about that a little bit earlier, man.
And how it's so to our core, kind of like eating a supper when you meet with your family and eat at supper.
There's so much about
the fire is a lost. It's a lost thing. There's no other podcasts out there that do this. By the way, people, I've said this other times, but there's nobody who has a real bonfire like this. There's some other. There's a podcast called the Bonfire Podcast.
Is there?
They don't even have a bonfire.
You've looked into this, huh?
Yeah, I've looked into it, man. Oh, I own the.
You put a lot of work into
I own
this,
everything for this. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah. So, as you were saying, the fire really connects you to something that's primal.
It's so primal, man, and people we're overlooking that a lot, and I think we see this. It happens, man. We see that. You see these men's retreats that are getting hugely popular because it's like, people are they're trying to reconnect with nature in a sense, because you got to understand the evolutionary process and how much fire is involved in this with humans, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's how many religions are based on this. That's my favorite religious myth. Myth is it's a religion, right? Is the story of, goddamn, I forgot the name.
Okay.
It's so bad. The dude that he wanted to give humans fire. Why can't
Burning bush type stuff?
No, not that one. Not Moses.
Not that one.
He's more of a Greek. He stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans, right? And his punishment for giving humans fire is to be stuck on a rock, and every day a raven or an eagle, I think, comes down, eats his liver out of his body, and then flies away. Every single day. That's his punishment for eternity, for giving us fire. Which
pretty rough.
Speaks to...
But here's the thing, it's a great story.
Oh, it's amazing.
But ultimately, at the end of the day...
I can't remember his name. I need his name. I'm sorry.
Ultimately, at the end of the day... Oh, you go ahead and look it up. Because, sorry, we don't have a producer for you, because you could just ask somebody. I used to have a great producer from Trinidad and Tobago who moved.
No shit.
And he would be Googling this for us right now.
Oh, man.
But here's the thing. It's a great story. I want to say this just because I'm kind of like a religion critic. Is that ultimately the story you speak of? It's just two fucking rocks you clap together over a bit of dry grass.
Oh, it's very...
And that's fire. Like, you just got to know what you're doing.
Well, so there's this idea in literature and in philosophy that there's really only 4 stories we can tell. Okay? There's only 4 things. We can tell it with different characters, different names, and different events that, kind of go around this. But it's really, there's only 4 stories that humans know, right? There's, like, the tragedy. There's the love story.
Oh, yeah.
There's the adventure.
I know what you're saying. I've heard this.
And I don't know, like, I don't want to, I'm not a literature expert, people. Just disclaimer.
You're talking about the kind of the 4 major genres.
Thought, but that's kind of what they say.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. That's in mainstream kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know the name to it. But,
that exists for sure.
God who stole fire.
So what the heck? I'm going to take a quick pee break.
Yeah,
and
Prometheus. That was his name? He's my favorite god.
So quick pee break.
So I'm just going to read this out loud. Yeah. You know what? Let's just keep this rock rolling. Prometheus, according to Google, the Greek poet Hesiod related two principal legends concerning Prometheus. The first is that Zeus, the chief god, who had been tricked by Prometheus into accepting the bones and fat of sacrifice instead of the hide fire from mortals. Prometheus, however, stole it and returned to Earth once again. Okay, I feel like I totally lied to everybody. Yeah, so big long story about Prometheus. But that's the idea, folks, is that Prometheus stole the fire from the gods to give the humans, and fire has been such a gift to humans. Trying to circle back. Holy shit, trying not to get so distracted.
Tell your story about Prometheus?
Yeah, well, I read the Wikipedia version of it, and it was totally different than what I was explaining, so now I feel like a cunt for giving people bad information, right?
No worries. Prometheus. All right, we're back. We're back to Canadian talk. Here we are. After the pee break number 1.
Yep.
And we're cruising along. We're 45 minutes into this bad boy.
Yeah, man.
With we got ourselves a PhD candidate talking all things thought.
So I'm a scientist without credentials.
Aren't we all? But
we all
we're right here. We're right here making credentials right now.
I hope so.
One
I
day,
think this is more valuable than
exactly.
a piece of
Exactly.
cheap skin. Right?
Yeah, we're doing social science right now.
Yeah,
We're talking to the people.
there's more value, right? The people that could
look at that thing
reached.
roar, hey?
That's a roaring fire.
She's roaring. That's why we added wood here, guys. I got some of that good fresh spruce on there.
I love your motor on this.
Yeah.
fan,
Okay. So we're talking about the fan.
It's
That's a convection.
I forgot what it's like a Stillman motor or something like that.
This here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if there's
there's
a name for it.
The convection. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, okay.
I watched a whole video.
So that must be the person. Must be talking about whoever owns the raw patent for this type of style.
So this
but
technology's been around for.
I bought this off
years,
of Amazon.
Right?
And actually, a buddy of mine
Can
bought
they
it.
see-
Eric
can they
actually
see
bought
what
it for
we're
me.
talking-
Shout out to
Eric?
Eric from episode 8. He's the PhD
Eric
scientist
on
there.
here?
Yeah, he was on episode 8.
I'll have to check that out. Good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Can they see the fan? They know what we're talking about.
They've seen it before. I put it
Okay.
in some things, but yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's a
Watch-
convection fan,
Watch the old shit.
and yeah, it works without anything. It just sits on the hot surface, and then
Just the heat
and then it
moves
turns the
piston,
fan.
right? Just
Yeah.
the convection.
Right here, it creates a differential pressure.
Yeah, such a cool thing. Like why?
And there's also a filament in here as well that also helps it turn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got
So,
a little electromagnetism.
It's both. It's
going
both.
on.
It's got two things going on. Yeah.
But there's no batteries or anything.
No,
right?
nothing.
You
Yeah,
have
nothing.
No external
Nothing.
energy.
It's just DC straight from the filament, and as well as the differential pressure
How close
created
would
by
you-
that grate.
How close would you consider this to be in? So you have kind of a physics mechanistic background, right?
Yes, I'm
How-
physics for sure.
How close would this be to the concept of a perfect machine, like a frictionless
right?
machine? How
I
close
know.
is this getting close at all? Like, where's
No.
the friction? Is
No,
that
because this thing
because
would.
that's an impossible machine, right?
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how it's
no. This thing,
described.
if I was to keep this fire running, this fan with the quality of filament that's on there, the differential pressure would help, but the filament would burn out in probably 1 month.
Really, that quick,
Probably
yeah?
less. Probably
Just
2.
with continuous
If it was
fire.
continuous, and you have to assume continuous, maybe a little bit less.
Because-
You could assume intermittent, but it would burn out really quick. Like I use this thing once a week, so
Yeah, and so in a simplistic mind, you would look at
Very
this
far
fan,
from a perfect machine.
You would think that this machine is running on no energy, right? Like from a very base conception.
yeah, but
then
it's burning. It's
you
burning what we
realize
call rare
it's
rare
actually-
metals.
it's-
Yeah,
it-
the
okay.
filament would be made of the high quality metal. That's what anything that's really conductive.
Yeah.
Those are the expensive metals, and those are the ones that are rare, and so ultimately it is burning something.
And it comes down to it's sitting on this fire that is being burned.
Also
by,
burning coal.
by coal.
Yeah, yeah,
essentially, right? The carbon derivatives. And shit
Exactly,
Like that.
exactly. So, yeah,
It's super interesting.
It's all
Such
something.
an interesting, could
Yeah.
be just because it's so simple, right? But
Yeah.
it's not that simple. It's a beautiful machine.
yeah.
It really is.
No, it totally
It's
is.
a weird sidetrack. I don't know.
No, it's physics, man. Physics is good stuff. It's
It
like,
is. It is.
yeah.
I wish I was better at that, at knowing that stuff, but I'm not.
Well,
And
it's-
I'm okay. Like I'm okay with that because I love the interest of it, right? Like I love listening to these beautiful minds talk sometimes that are, not only are they good at, one of the most complex fields like these theoretical quantum mechanists, and astrophysicists, and these people that get on, I love hearing them talk and hearing them try to reduce these insanely complex concepts down to people like you and I, right? Like, how the fuck they're translating the universe to us, and they're serving such a genuine, beautiful purpose in humanity right now. I really,
But there's no jobs for the fucking mathematicians, is there?
There's no.
I know.
There are. There's not.
There isn't.
Sadly,
no.
There's maybe.
No.
It depends on how you want to slice it and dice it, right?
Dude, even if we move towards nuclear power, which I hope we do, but we probably won't.
France is doing awesome.
We're
right?
still not going to be hiring any physicists.
France is like 100%, close to 100% nuclear, right?
Yeah,
They're doing fantastic.
Here's the thing, though. France is small. How about Germany?
Okay. Doesn't quite
Germany
scale.
Isn't 100%, but they're nearly 90% nuclear, and they have. Oh man, I wish I could pull it up. Producer, pull it up.
Yeah, producer.
The population.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Yeah. I wonder though. Oh,
Young
I don't have my
Jamie.
phone, but we could maybe say, "Hey Google," but I wonder what the population is of. What's the population of France versus Germany?
Hey Siri, what's the population of Germany?
As of 2019, the population of Germany was 83,149,300.
83 mil. So we're at 83 mil, and then what about France?
Hey Siri, what's the population of France?
As of 2020, the population of France was
That's 20 million,
67,063,703.
roughly 20 million more.
Okay, so both
in
very
Germany.
very high quality examples, but Germany isn't 100%.
That's a lot of fucking people, man. There's 300. I think
That's 200 million people all using nuclear
That's
power.
a third of America.
Yeah, the
in,
core
like,
of Europe
Texas.
is now using nuclear power, and what they do with their waste is they bury it in barrels.
And so I think I might be totally off base with this, but somebody has come up with a way to reprocess this nuclear waste.
Yeah, you can do that too. You can
And
do that
they
too. You can
figured
reuse
out
it
a
and use it
very-
again.
I don't know if
a
it
little
was-
greasier though. Just fucking bury that shit. Because here, they've been using. Anybody out there watch Pandora's Promise? It's a documentary they had me watch in. I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but it's good to be repetitive because you may not have watched this all. But thorium.
Thorium.
And essentially, nuclear power has developed into what they call IFRs, which are integral fast reactors. And it's nuclear power, but it's more safe. They use thorium instead of uranium. And thorium, you don't need a liquid to cool. Uranium, they use water. With thorium, they use NaCl, which is salt. And they fucking...
ACL stands for, is that what you say?
Sodium,
the letters ACL?
NaCl.
NaCl, sodium
Sorry,
chloride.
sodium chloride. They
Okay,
use
salt.
salt to cool it, and that's a solid. So
Really? They can use salt. to
so there's
cool
no
it, huh?
chance of spillage because it's sorry, we're gonna get a little smoky here. Looks, I can't do anything about that piece, and it's out of the. So there's no chance of a spillage. Period.
know
So
that.
anybody who's worried about a nuclear power plant, forget about it, because not only is thorium more efficient than uranium, but you can cool it with a solid.
I didn't know that.
So
That's-
yeah,
that's
but watch
fantastic.
Pandora's Promise. You'll see some smarter guys talk about it than me. But and guess what? Saskatchewan sits on the biggest deposit. Saskatchewan,
shit.
our entire base of our entire province is thorium and
I did not
uranium
know
and
that.
uranium. We
Like
have a place.
the-
We have a city called Uranium City.
No, I did
That's
not.
great. We have uranium, but we have more thorium, and thorium is one fistful of thorium
Yep.
can do as much as this entire garage full
Of coal.
of
just
uranium.
uranium. No shit.
Dude, how about
That's insane.
this one fistful of thorium?
Really?
This entire park full of coal.
Really?
That's how efficient thorium
Alright,
is.
so this park is maybe
It's-
like 1K by 1K.
It's
half a K.
maybe
what would
half
you
a
say?
K. So
Okay, just to,
so you're looking at like
explain
1
to
square
anybody.
kilometer of coal.
That's a fucking lot.
Yeah, but
And how
the
high,
numbers are all
right?
in the documentary. So they do the comparisons of how efficient thorium is versus coal. So just look at the numbers on there. But anyway,
That's fascinating.
So,
man.
yeah,
I appreciate
nuclear
you.
power.
I did not know that. I didn't know that thorium was that much more.
Yeah,
I thought it was more of a byproduct type of thing. And so I think
thorium is the fuel.
I didn't remember. I want to say it was like a recent. Nobel Prize winner that developed this way of recycling the old uranium from the power plants to.
Yeah. There's other reactors that do
So
that, but
I
they're more
could be wrong
prone to
about that.
spillage, so all that kind of stuff. And also, they can take like nuclear bombs. The documentary talks about this, but they can take like a nuclear bomb that's old
Yeah.
and just create energy out of it for a city for
Oh, I bet.
years
Yeah,
off of a nuclear bomb. So they can turn a weapon into energy for
Really?
decades.
That's fascinating.
So
My
nuclear
dad
power,
works-
but everybody's afraid of it.
works for a company in Texas. It's a government Department of Energy company actually. That's called the Pantex plant, and their whole job, their whole reason for existing, and this place is, it's a city. It's like it's a giant city, and their whole job is to dismantle all of the old nuclear arms that we have that are outdated, or because of our like nuclear disarmament things with Russia that we've signed, like the agreements. We're like, okay, we'll disassemble these. You can, the Russians then fly over, and they take photographs of the weapons being disassembled, right, separated, so they know there's no fissionable material. So they Russians fly over and take pictures of our shit. We do the same thing to Russia.
Fair,
But it's a fair thing, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they've only cut down like 10% since the Reagan era, right?
Okay.
So there's still, America still has close to, I think, 6,000 nukes ready to
Yeah,
go.
lots. America's still the
right
number
now,
one
right?
military people. Yeah.
And Russia probably has close to a similar number.
Strongest
but they
military
haven't
for
been
sure.
able to keep it up, right?
Dude,
They haven't been able to maintain
World War
these
II,
silos.
Let's
and
just
shit.
talk about World War II for a second.
Oh,
we don't even have to talk about, because when we talk about wars, World War I was obviously a complete domination because of nuclear arms, and then World War II was a complete domination because of our strategic and linguistic communication dominance on the battlefield. Like the D-Day,
communication, I
D-Day,
think.
we pierced the European forces and just destroyed them
It
in
was-
World War II.
It was, I think, communication. I think is
That's what it was.
with World, like the nuclear thing with World War II was definitely, you know, and there's a lot of. I'm actually interested to hear your version of this. How you feel about this as a Canadian, not a non-American.
Yeah.
About America dropping the bombs on
Yeah.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, I did a
right?
report on it.
Is that shitty of us? Was that a
No.
bad thing to do?
No.
Because from what I learned, and here's one thing that I have learned from being in Canada, is that the history we're taught as Americans is not the same history you're taught as Canadians.
Pretty similar
It's
though.
it's pretty
a little
similar.
different, but
There's things like the War of 1812. It's
yeah,
like,
they teach us that we kicked ass.
Yeah, and how I'd never heard that. I came up here and I had
Like,
several people
they-
were
they
like,
teach
"Yeah,
us-
we burn your shit down."
Yeah,
there."
that's what
No.
they teach us.
Did you? I didn't. I thought that. I just thought it was the British. I don't know. I know someone.
That
did
was
it.
literally us being mad because we were so dominated. We
yeah?
didn't win anything.
I don't.
We just
well,
we just threw a fucking, what do they call those things where there's a bottle with
like a Molotov cocktail.
we threw a Molotov cocktail at the White House
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, we burned them down."
Really?
That's,
Is that?
I'm being
that's-
honest.
Well,
That's-
I mean,
dude, that's what it was.
Yeah?
That's what it was.
well, I mean, like I've had
If
this
we're being honest
conversation
here,
with multiple
you guys
people.
are our big brother. You look after us.
Well, a lot of people, and like I hate that. I think we were discussing this earlier, like how much I really appreciate the Canadians who are unabashedly Canadian, right? Like they are full bore on Canadian football,
Yeah.
even though they realize the goddamn goalpost is just in the middle of the
Yeah,
field, like in crazy people.
Yeah.
What is that crazy weird
Knocking out
Canadian
our
shit,
football
man?
players.
Just people getting knocked the fuck out and trying to run a route, man. We were talking about this earlier, so
Yeah.
I know it's an interesting topic to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like I love
Shout out to the YXC Sports Podcast. You
love
guys are doing good. You
love
got-
Canadian sports, man.
I wish more people would watch your lives.
You
It's
guys
too
are
bad.
impressive, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm always Canadians. Always you never cease to impress me. You really, I'm always like, not in Canada, man. They're doing things.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like it's like, and I think a lot of it is that you don't get as much news coverage, right, as the states, right? Like, y'all have a new prime minister in the states. We don't know that.
We do it every 2 years.
Is it every two? See, I didn't know that shit.
Usually they
I had
don't. They
no
don't get
idea.
kicked out usually, but yeah, every 2 years we have a new vote for another prime minister.
Is it every two?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Trudeau's in for two more. What's he?
who
in
knows?
For?
I don't
Because
fucking know.
him and Trump got in at the same time in
Yeah,
16,
and
right?
he's won. So I think though there's another vote coming up soon.
Is
but
there?
and I think he's going to be
Isn't
out.
that
but
weird?
He's been in for 4 years.
I found this to be true on multiple occasions that even Canadians know more about American shit than they know about Canadian politics.
Oh, for sure.
Isn't that weird? Like
That's
it's
super funny.
the I think it's the media coverage, right? Like it's such
well,
a
your guys' stuff
it's
is more exciting.
It's such a goddamn circus down there.
Well, you guys have, yeah.
Like-
It's not that it's a circus. It's just that you guys have literally.
It influences everything.
You
right?
guys have.
They're steering the boat,
You
right?
guys-
And it's a big ass tanker.
You guys have 20 times our population.
Is it that much more?
Approximately. Like
Yeah.
18, 17 times our population.
No shit. Yeah.
So there's just a lot more going on.
you
You
kinda
have
go
400
as
million
America
people.
goes.
We have
Yeah.
25 million people.
Yeah.
So,
And
30.
Canada kind of goes as America goes, which makes me mad when America does stupid shit with Canada. It's like, why? Hey, we're basically the same people.
Yeah.
You've
We're
created
just
this-
your place that you guys you guys just let us live and maintain the resources
Yeah.
while you guys chill by the equator.
Yeah. That's a very well put statement. Like, and
We all want to be by the equator.
everybody wants to be closer,
Yeah.
right? We were talking about this earlier. Somebody who was walking, they kept walking, right? Like across the land bridge,
We were
through
talking
America,
about the South Americans.
and then they got to South America,
Yeah.
and then they got like in the lower portions,
yeah.
lower latitudes in
Yeah,
Chile.
yeah.
And
We
shit.
were talking about the quality of your indigenous heritage
Like,
and
no,
how you come
turn
across.
it around, everybody.
Yeah.
It's getting cold again.
Yeah, we were talking about how you come across the land bridge over there in North Russia, and then you're in Canada. Then you got the Canadian Aboriginals, and then you go down. You got the Cherokee. You got the American Aboriginals, and then you got the serious ones who just kept on walking. They
going.
took the skinny way. They went through Mexico. They kept on going.
Through
They went.
Panama,
They
all
went
that
down
shit,
to Brazil. They went down to fucking Argentina,
Peru, all
and then all
that.
they went down to Chile, and then they were like, wait. It's getting colder, guys.
gotta-
Is that Antarctica? I see a penguin. What the
Turn
fuck
it
is that? Have you ever
around.
seen a bird like that?
Yeah. Hold on, that bird doesn't even fly.
That bird is pretty fat. What the fuck?
What are we doing, man?
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Okay, let's turn around
We're
here,
not
guys.
fat enough to live here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that's a lot of. That's why penguins are fat. They can't live in Antarctica and
Yeah.
be skinny and cold all the time. They're fat and cold still, right? Like they gotta
Oh my
sacrifice,
God.
right? Like and hey, I love the movie The March of the Penguins. That's my jam, man.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
Just
I like it too.
I like to
Yeah.
I like to smoke a lot of marijuana and watch
Yes.
that movie, and it's a
March of the
very-
Penguins.
It's a very zen movie. I mean,
Oh yeah.
what can that dude not narrate and make it better? Yeah,
True. You're talking about
Morgan Freeman.
Freeman, yeah.
Yeah, like there's nothing he makes going to prison sound like a decent time, you know? Like if you watch the Shawshank Redemption, I'm like,
Dude.
hey man,
Yeah,
if
that's a
Morgan
great
Freeman's
film.
there, I don't
I'll
know.
head down there. Is he giving advice on the yard?
Yeah, is he?
I'll fucking go.
Can I hit this? Can I hit Red up? Like is Red available? That dude in real
Is he on Cameo?
Yeah, in real life, that dude would be a wealthy man in prison. He would never want to get out. He would be so rich.
He'd
would
have
be
packs of cigarettes.
so many bags, so many
cigarettes.
so many soups and stamps.
Yo,
Stamps,
dude,
are
stamps for
generally-
days. He'd have so many
currency.
mashed potatoes, gravy.
He'd be good, man.
Yeah.
He sitting
No,
like a fat cat.
they'd make sure there was no shit in the tube before he crawled out of prison.
No, man.
He'd walk out of prison.
He'd do well. That's
Yeah,
the prison system. I can't speak for Canada, but in
Oh my
America,
god! I'm just remembering our gopher drowning
bananas.
stories.
yeah, the gopher drowning.
Okay, so are we gonna talk about neurology at any point here? Holy shit.
We can. I mean,
No,
what
no,
do you,
no, totally.
Let's see what
You got so much business going on. He's a busy
Yeah.
guy here, people. So he worked
Just-
me into his schedule.
So-
So he's got lots of messages going on.
today is a test day for my students,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah. This
teaching
is
online.
a pilot for me having a proper scientist on here today. I really appreciate him giving me a chance. And maybe next time it'll be better and more educational for you folks out there. But I hope you got a laugh.
Well,
I think that since we are more than an hour in, I think we'll call that episode 26. Thanks for listening, everybody. That is PhD candidate Doug Renshaw came in here for a visit,
yes, sir. Thank you. Thank
and
you for
you
having
guys
me
will
on,
see him
man.
again very soon.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I
And,
really enjoyed this.
All right, that's Canadian Talk Podcast out.
Canada.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to canadiantalkwithstephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.
Canadian Talk.